I want to tell you about using a lifeline. A lifeline is something used in lace knitting, and it's a extra strand of yarn, in this case dental floss, something that's not going to felt. So you don't want to use wool. Again, if you have wool knitting or alpaca or something very grippy, it's just a strand that can be slid out later, and its purpose is to facilitate if you need to rip back your knitting. And here's how it works. Commonly, at the end of a row, it is inserted with a tapestry needle. I'll show you that. Guess I can finish this row. So you would just run it along, right along with the needle, all the way across the row, like so. But I'm actually not going to complete this. You get the idea. Just run it along all the stitches. I want to show you another method, which is a neat little trick if you're using an interchangeable needle set like this one. This is the Denise interchangeable set we sell. You see this little hole? Right at the join, there's a nifty little hole. And not all sets have this, but many do. And you can, this is where something really fine like dental floss is a great lifeline, because it fits easily. I'm going to just roll this to a point since it's the flat dental floss. I'm just going to pop that right through. And then as I knit, this just drags along with me. So knit, knit, knit to the end of the row, and it just comes along. And at the very end of the row, you pull it through all the way like this. Take it out of the needle and put your needle back in to continue working. And then on the following row, you just work like a regular row. You don't want to knit the dental floss ideally, but really actually it doesn't matter if you catch it like so and knit into it, because the function, I mean, it might make it hard to slide out, but dental floss is pretty forgiving. Let's see how forgiving it is if I knit. Well, obviously we don't want to knit too many stitches with it in it, but I think I just knit a few, and we'll see how it slides out of the work, because assuming you don't make any mistake, you'll have a bunch of these lifelines in your work, and you want to be able to slide them out when your work is complete. You could always cut them if they don't slide out, if you do catch them in the knitting. But that should just slide out. Let's just make sure that does. Oh yeah, see, slippery, slippery dental floss. There we go. And now, of course, here's one, say I made an error somewhere in this section of knitting. So here's what we do. We rip back to the dental floss, to the lifeline. And it just serves, there it is, there's our row with the dental floss right in the middle. It just serves as a guide for the needle. So you just follow along with it. And in regular non-lace knitting, this isn't necessary really. You just put your needle back in. But it can be really helpful in lace knitting, which can be very confusing. There's that, goes that way. Not just a guide, it's somewhat of a stopper so that your knitting won't hopefully won't be able to fully get away on you. You know, these can't run down with this dental floss in place, at least not if it's fairly taut. If a stitch starts to try to run down, let's see, you know, it might drag the dental floss with it, like so, and then you could just, you know, grab both sides of the dental floss and fetch it back. So this is the function of it. You know, it won't really get away on you. You know where you are at the very least, and can put your knitting back in. So voila. And you could just leave this on and continue your knitting pattern.